sorry about that. We got kicked off.
Devil is a
The
liar.
devil is a liar. Anytime people are going to be impacted and delivered, these are the things that happen. And so we really have to be prepared when we come on and have backup plans. Because listen, so many things, even the internet does not want to act right. But we were talking about married men. When married men actually when men get married with boyish behaviors. And so, hey, Team Christian, I don't know if you were on the previous live, but we had to jump on this one. So thank you for joining. Hello. Oh, please pray for you. Definitely. You may let us know if you can share it publicly. If not, you can message us one away and we will definitely pray for you. All right, so we were talking about when men who get married, they get married with boyish behaviors, and you were talking about sometimes it's two part: the culture of the church, the culture of the community. Please do, yes, send us a message. And
Definitely, definitely.
what else were you saying about the cultures, the two cultures when men get
Yeah,
trained
so
a
yeah,
certain way?
so I've said what I've come to realize, you have two culture, the culture of the world,
Yeah.
that says freedom,
No.
do what thou will, the devil's mantra. And you have the church that we send you a message. Okay,
Yes. Please do that.
okay. And then you have the church that says, listen, get married. And so when you were dealing with that as a man, you have not really gotten a chance to grow. You have not really gotten a chance to learn and understand
Yeah.
the morals and the way of life. When it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a marriage, you have not really fully developed where that is concerned, because you're now getting out of the world in the church. And I don't want to stray from the point, but
Yeah.
what I was saying is that you've or I've realized, or you realize that the level of freedom that a man gets,
Yeah.
especially in the world, he's not quick to get married.
Yes. Yes,
You
that's a
understand?
good point.
Yeah, he's not quick to get married.
Yes.
And so when he gets in the church, it's like the next thing is,
Yeah.
again, we go back to the church culture. The next thing is getting married. You
Find
get to, yeah, you get
settlement.
in the church, you praise the Lord at two
Yeah.
time, and then pastor, I see this person,
Yeah.
you
Sounds
get
fine
married.
now.
And so you've really not gotten a chance to develop. You're
True.
still carrying that mindset in from the world in the church.
Yes.
You've not gotten a chance to see, people um, that are mentors, person that can
Yes.
help you to
Yeah.
understand what it is. Listen, loyalty.
Yeah.
You don't know that because you were running the streets before you got in the
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
And I believe you have so many young people right now, especially those that get
Yes.
saved and all of that, were living a promiscuous life. They have not even gotten a chance to be delivered. So they're still walking around with a mindset, a way of life of doing certain
Yes.
things. And then the next step is, oh, you spend a 1 year in church and I need to get married. You don't understand what marriage
Yeah.
is. You don't understand what it takes. You have not developed life skills. You don't understand
Yeah.
conflict resolution. You don't know what it is to be loyal, because you have not gone through that
The
process.
process. Yeah.
And so a woman comes along in the church saying, listen, I will take your hand in marriage, and no, she has to deal with that.
Yes. Yes.
Especially if you've not given that young man a chance to mellow in the Lord. You have not
Yeah.
given that young man a chance to for God to come in and do the incision and do the work on him. You have not even gotten a chance to see that young man in different seasons of his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it goes right back to the church culture. Is it's better to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
and we do understand that, but I feel like it's a dangerous place to want to
Too
get married
quickly.
from.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm saying too quickly.
Yeah.
Because it is better to marry, the Bible
It's
said
better to
that,
marry than
but
to
too
burn.
quickly.
But and even so, I believe even though the Lord put that in scriptures, He's not saying
Rush it.
jump the
Yeah.
horse, jump the horse before
Put
the
the,
stable. You understand
Don't
what
skip
I'm?
stages.
Yeah.
Still go through your
You
process.
still have to go through a process. We understand you're gonna have the emotions and desires and all that type of stuff,
Yeah.
but don't skip the process. And again, it's dangerous to marry from that place because
Yes.
again, it's almost saying I'm getting married because I want to have sex.
Basically. And as Bradley said, that it's really the whole of this is when a man is not submitted to God. When a man comes in church or is in the church and because people can be in the church and they're not submitted to God. People can be in the church for years and they're still not submitted to God. So sometimes it's not even, oh, he just came in the church. You have been in the church and you may not have been living a faithful, you don't have a faithful prayer time. You don't have faithful Bible reading. You don't witness. You don't go out. You don't impart the word. You don't obey the word. You don't listen to the voice of God. You don't move when you hear it. If you are not that kind of a steward, you're not going to be much loyal and disciplined in marriage or in any area of life. So it goes both ways. The submission is really unto God first, like he said.
Definitely,
So,
and I love what you said before that a man will not change for a woman, and
yeah,
even if he's showing that sign at first, it would not last long.
yeah,
That is just for a moment. Him just feeling some level of pity and he's saying, okay, I've hurt her, so I need to kind of slow down. But how long will that last? Because,
yeah,
again, as you said, God has to be the one to step in. The man has to be the one to say, listen, Lord, I am submitted to you
right.
first.
Yeah, I want this
I
development.
want this development for myself. I want you to change me.
Yeah,
I want you to be the center of my life where change can come in and I can be this person in my
yes,
marriage. I can be this person for the person that
yeah,
I am looking to get married. So you can't a woman you could have fight from now till a morning.
yeah,
Only God has the power to change that man.
yes.
And that man him have to want change.
He has to want the change. Amen.
You get what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
guys? He has to want the change. He has to want to be that person for his future spouse or be that person in his marriage. God
Yeah.
has to be the one to change that person.
Yeah.
You can't change him.
Yeah.
I promise you that you can't
Yeah.
change him.
And he has to want it for himself first, right?
Yes, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. He has to want that. You could
No,
have
I mean, like, I want to be a better man for me, whether or not I have a spouse.
no, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. He has to want that change. Before he meet that person, before him get married, he has to want that change. And a lot of times, as we always talk about it, especially women, sometimes we force that on, sometimes
We force the
you force
process.
that process on yourself. And I understand I understand peer pressure, I understand the church culture, I understand getting to a place
Yeah.
where you're seeing everybody around you getting married and
Yeah.
all of that. Listen,
And not wanting to live in sin.
listen, it's your life. Don't
Yep.
watch what everybody else is doing because you don't know the outcome of of that situation.
Yeah.
Don't watch what focus on your life. So every step that you take, every move that you make in that process should be made in a delicate way. Let me use
Right.
that word. Delicate. Treat it like a little baby, like a
Yes.
little premature baby we need extra
Care.
attention and extra care.
Yes.
Go before God. Allow that person, if you see that person, allow him to go through the different seasons of his life.
Yes, yes, yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Don't rush him.
Marriage nah runway.
Don't
But we
rush him.
choose to pick the apple before it ripe. We choose to pick the mango before it ripe, and then you're going to get the ripple effect of that.
Yeah.
Because no matter how beautiful you look or sweet and you smell nice, you have a nice shape.
Yeah.
A man will look left.
Wow.
We see so much celebrities and different people where
Yeah.
when you look on the woman, them look like, you look and say, yo, him
Real
really
good.
cheap.
I'm not behave.
Him really go step out.
Yeah.
Because what we have to understand, a promiscuous man, a man that is sexually promiscuous before getting marriage, is, listen, as I said, if deliverance and check in and him live at the foot of the cross, more than likely he's going to go back to that life. Because that's an imprint. That's
Yeah.
an imprint that is there. Only the Lord and he has to do the work also because you can't go through deliverance. You get what I'm saying? You can go through deliverance and you live at the foot of the cross. But when you
Yeah.
get up, it is there. Meaning say you see people that walk around, women that walk around naked. You have to do the work. You have to know, say, listen, I am going to stay away from this because I know the ripple effect of it. But
Yeah.
then I have to guard my mind. I have to, meditate on the Lord. I have to do
Yeah.
whatever it is to not entertain a certain lifestyle.
Absolutely. What about the areas where it's not promiscuity? What about those men who are maybe they're not unfaithful, but in the marriages they're boyish, they're having boyish behaviors, they're depicting boyish behaviors like poor communication, emotionally abusive,
And
and
that is why I go back and I will go back to what his life was growing up. And guys, it's the reality of a lot of men.
it's true.
It's easy for me to say 99% to how bad it is. It's easy because what you have to understand, it's very rare that you find household with both parents in there, especially now. Healthy marriage. I'm talking about healthy marriage. Somebody that's going to tell you, listen, don't do that, stay out of that. Be this way, be that
Yeah.
way. You understand? Teaching you life skills. You understand how to save your money. Like so many different things to help you to become a whole man
Yeah.
before even church. Just different
The
things.
family
You
setting.
understand the family setting, and why I say that is because a person that, and statistics has said that a person that is brought up, a man that
Hey.
is brought up in a two family household, meaning say male husband and wife,
Yeah.
parents married, is more likely to get married and is more likely to stay married
Yeah. Yeah.
because he has seen that that's a part of his
The
subconscious.
subconscious. Yeah.
That's a part of his life. He lived it. You understand? And
Yeah.
to bring up a young man that is in a community that is toxic, his way of life is whatever. He'll only give you, when it comes to the moral, he'll only give you the better part of that. Meaning that
Yep.
he can give you 90% wrong and 10% right.
Yeah.
And the 10% is just coming from, okay, listen, boy, don't thief.
What he knows.
You understand?
Yeah.
Don't thief. There are different things. You might see his father as a man that takes care of his children. So when he gets older,
That's
yeah, he's going to take care of
That's
his
how you
kids.
love your family. Take care. Take care of them.
So he'll give you that. You're going to see certain things where you can say, okay, you look like, when him step in a person's house, him know, say, listen, boy, take off your shoes because his mommy told him that.
Right.
Or his grandmother tell him, say, boy, do that and do that. Learn for cook. Like, you will see those type of stuff.
Yeah.
And he will give you that. But when you talk about stay faithful, stay this, stay that, things that is required in our marriage.
Yeah. Core
The
values.
core values that in a marriage, it's hard to see that because his lifestyle is 90% of his lifestyle says, listen, promiscuity.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Some people may not know what that looks like because they may not understand, okay, what are some of the examples? Sometimes, especially as females, we will mask or we will tolerate certain things because we don't know what it looks like to be a macho man. We too, us too, we've not had that modeling. And a lot of females never have a father who was a good role model. So when you have a man now, sometimes we excuse bad behavior because to us it's okay, right? So we tolerate a lot of things. So what are some of the things that you would say are some, you quote unquote, boyish behavior that men who are married should not be in? First of all, I know, like you mentioned initially, you got married and you started off with a bit of a boyish behavior. What are some of the things that you would say, knowing what you know right now, you can look back and say, that was childish, that was boyish, I wasn't a man in that sense?
I wanted to still have a level of freedom. I wanted to still have a level of freedom. Like the one and two friends that I had, I feel like I could still go out and guys, it had nothing to do with partying
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but just being outside of the house on a regular basis.
Yes.
So, whether it's going out to play ball and stay, talk till hours at night. Sometimes we finish playing football and we
Yeah.
just sit down and talk. And they come in. There are times when there was a little area spot that we used to go and we play domino and talk and, just chill. I
Yeah.
wanted to do that on a regular basis, I would spend hours on the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would play. I would spend hours.
Hours.
You know, I would have my little friend come over and we sit down and I would play some serious game. And you know, men, we're competitive. Worse when you lose. Oh
Yep.
my God. So that was also a factor.
Yeah.
You know, not understanding what boundary looks like. You get what I'm saying?
What about things like leadership in terms of finances?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
yeah. The money language, you know,
yeah,
not
financial
understanding.
literacy?
Yeah, yeah. Guys, it's a lot, and it's serious. You know, when I look back on it, it's serious, and that's why even person that have children, you know, is so important.
Yep.
And again, as I said, it's easy to put a figure on it where it's the rate is so high because
Yeah.
just thinking back on it, our parents, you know, parents that brought us up and their parents,
Yeah.
they really didn't sit our parents down and say, listen, this is how
Yeah.
when it comes to spending money, this is how to operate in this situation. This is
Yeah.
how to do this. This is how to do. We're just free for all. There are rules though where you know they might instill when it comes to certain things. You know, you have to take a shower at a certain time. You can't stay out at a certain time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But conflict resolution and those type of things when it comes to spending money, saving money, like these are the things we're not instilled.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
You understand? These are the things you have to figure.
Hey,
Yeah, you have to figure it out as you go along. You know, trial and error, trial and error, trial
Yeah.
and error, trial and error, and that is why a lot of persons, you know, in marriage and single, you know, you're in a lot of debt. Like there's so many things that is going on in your life because you have not learned
Not
that
mastered
aspect
it.
of
Yeah.
you know, money and
Yeah.
everything that comes with it. So, guys, listen. As parents, we have to sit down and take our time and learn these things and
Yeah.
impart it on our children.
Please do.
We on this channel because we want to break generational curses.
Yes.
You understand? We don't just want to come and we just talk. We're talking about breaking it right here.
From the root.
It might not sound logical to you. You might be in a place where you say, well, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is serious.
It absolutely is.
We're trying to stop it right here.
Yeah. Yep.
You understand, guys?
Yep.
We're trying to break it
Tell it
right
today.
here. So never you take what we're saying lightly and say whatever it is. Apply
Yeah.
it. Because what you're doing is that if you're not doing these things and applying these things when it comes to your family, it's going to be a continuation. Hey, Kira. It's going to be a continuation when your children go. You think your children now watch and observe?
They are. They are. Absolutely they
They're
are.
watching and they're observing these children. They are different type of children are born now.
Yep.
These kids come like AI. You get what I'm saying, guys? They're in their little corner and they're seeing certain things and they're observing certain things.
Yeah.
So you have to make it your point of duty to say, listen, the foolishness stops here. Especially
Yeah.
now we're living in a time where it's just computer, everybody busy. Everybody busy, parents out to look money.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you just want to get rid of the kids because your mind is just all over the place. I try to make it and I try to make ends meet and all that type of stuff. That we even get a chance to slow down and have a conversation and say, listen, this is how this is done. Like, learn this, learn that.
Yeah. Model it.
Model this.
Yeah. Amen.
You
Absolutely.
understand, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to get to that place where you say, listen, it stops right here.
That's a good point, Jadine.
What she said?
Good point. She said, I believe mothers should mentor their sons into the husbands you would have wanted. Men fitting for our daughters. The issue with that is sometimes women don't know the kind of man they need to have. So they may want a certain type of man, but they may not know a man that is good for them. So healed mothers. So that's a very good point.
And true, but I also, to add to that, I feel like it's also down to the fathers.
True that too.
Because
a woman can't be a man.
A woman cannot be a man. No matter how we want, we see women and they do a good job, or let's say women do the best, single mothers, they do the best they can.
Yeah.
But you see, when a father is, trust me, I know, when a father is in the house, and I'm talking about a healthy father that understands structure, understand this, understand that. When him talk, is a different
He
energy
adds
come through the
structure.
house. He had
Yeah.
structure to the house.
Yeah.
And what that does is that the kids look at how the father operate with his mother, how you show a young man how to be this to a woman, is me as the father have to mimic that lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him see how me love up him mother. Him see how me hold her hand. Him see how me talk to her like me talk to her with respect. Like these things. Him look and say, oh yeah, that is
Yeah.
how it should be.
And that's our female. That's the female's first introduction to a man. So the female also start to say, "Oh, that's the type of man I
That's the type
want."
of man. That's the
So
part that, yeah. The other day we did at the house with wifey and they were talking and stuff and I said, what are you talking about? And she was saying, my daughter said, listen, that is my father the type of man I would want to get married to. Allow me to tell.
no, that's what she said.
How you think that happened? Because
Yeah.
she sees how I operate in the house.
Yeah, that's what that's what she said.
You get what I'm
She
saying? She's
said,
looking and
"Mom,
said,
you're lucky." I said, "Why?" She said, "Cause I want a man like Daddy."
you understand, guys? So that is how important a woman can do only so
Yeah.
much. A woman can do only so much, but it's the man that mirrors that type of love. It's the man
Yeah.
that mirrors that type of affection and that type of structure.
Yeah.
And we're growing up. We'll soon come back. We're growing up in a society where the men are absent from the household. And that is the reason why you see a lot of things that are happening right now, both with the young ladies and the young men.
Yeah.
Females walking around naked. I guarantee, like those females, you go right back and say, "Did you have a father in your life?" They will
Many
guarantee
of
them
them.
until they say them father never did it.
Yeah.
So that's how they seek validation. That's how they seek affection. That's how they quote unquote seek love.
Yeah. Amen. And some of the things that we want to add, those are great points. We want to also add, when you're talking about a boyish man, what are some things that ladies you need to look out for? Because again, we can mask dysfunction because we don't know what it looks like, and so we tolerate certain things. So the what does a man who is not a mature
What?
married man?
Is that a question?
Can you read them in the meantime while I'm speaking?
If a brother in the church has not done the necessary requirements, especially when it comes to preparing cleave, but his parents
Are
are
open
open
to
to
help
help him
him.
in a way that
That can be a red flag. Mm-hmm.
Simplify the question. If his
Sim-
parents have too much of say in the best interest of their
That
son,
is
it's
a red flag.
yeah. If what does that do to address the matter?
What does he do to address? He has to put his foot down.
Yes.
Because that is an issue, Bradley, with a lot of men. And biblically, if again, home is not always the geographical location. If you are married and your parents in another spot is too involved in your marriage, you're kind of not ready for marriage.
Yes.
Because leaving and cleaving means you're separating that tradition and you're starting your new family, your tradition. It's not that parents can't have a suggestion, but they should not be so imprinted. That tie, that soul tie is already destroyed. It's cut. And now you have to cleave, form that oneness with your new family. So any man who has a mother or a father too much in their lives, that woman should not even open her mouth to that family. That wife should not be the one to say, mom-in-law or father-in-law, you're too much. No, it's the man who has to stand and say, mom or dad, you have overstepped, or no, I used to allow you to, but not anymore. Respectfully, still in love. We appreciate you, your suggestions, but this is not your family. You can't have too much of a say. You don't run the show over here. I asked because I have observed this specifically, which it's true.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. We could tell you stories for days. It's true.
Yes.
Absolutely true. So thanks for sharing that, Bradley. Some of the things that you see in men who are boyish. So the boyish is not only in his, is not about his looks. It's about his attitudes, his habits, and his emotional maturity or the lack thereof. So they may avoid responsibility or expect his wife to mother him. He may struggle with emotional regulation. So like silent treatments, outbursts, you're talking to him and he's walking away, he's pouting, throwing tantrums is a sign that this man is a boy in his behavior. He prioritizes fun and staying on the outside. He likes to leave the home. He loves hobbies or friends over partnership and family activities and duties. So this man, he loves to be more with friends. He likes to go out more than how he prioritizes family time. That's a man who is exhibiting boyish behaviors. He is also impulsive in terms of making decision without considering long-term effects. He may stop certain decisions. For example, you want to go here and he will just say no, or you don't want to go and he say yes, go. He's not thinking about long-term impact. He just thinks in the moment and it is what he says. That's impulsive behavior. He has a strong need for validation, admiration, or to be taken care of. So, excuse me, sometimes you may be trying to share a point and he is trying to instill in you that you don't respect him enough or you are not showing submission enough. And that's a form of gaslighting and manipulation, because the truth is you may be doing your part, but because he has this extra craving and need to be validated, it's like a blame game. He tries to make you feel bad, guilt trip you, so that you feel like you're not doing something right. But when the truth is, it's his boyish need for validation that is screaming out in this relationship.
Yes.
And it's making you feel inadequate, like you're not doing. So what do? You start to do? You start to overgive. You start to overdo. And the more you do and the more you give, he's still not being pleased. Because the underlying factor is this person is caught between childhood tantrums and the almost like a death sentence of marriage stole his freedom. Marriage is stealing his freedom. So the next one is he resists conflict or hard conversations. He shuts down, doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to talk about it. He will mask it, avoid it, stay out, stay late. He go somewhere else in the house. He starts doing a lot of things because he doesn't want you to confront him about the hard topics or the things that need to be resolved. He retreats to shutting down or to isolating. And it's again, it's not that they're oblivious. They know what they're doing. They know they're deliberately staying away from the conversation because they don't want to face the hard truth. They may appear charming, they are playful and adventurous because they do have positive traits, but they become immature when stress hits them. So immaturity, for example, they're now inconsistent every time something wrong starts to happen in the house. They maybe resort to promiscuity or to drinking or to partying. Every time there is a problem, you basically see the weaker end of your husband. So it's not that they can't make mistakes, but it's like every time they're faced with a struggle, they resort to this man like, I don't know who you've become. You are now showing me something that you never used to show. Some other ways are financial immaturity. One of the biggest ways you see this in men is the financial literacy. They don't know how to lead a family financially. And so your family is falling in a lot of debts. Your family is not making the right decisions regarding finances, investment, what to buy, what not to buy, things that you take out, hire purchase. I think that's what it's called, where you constantly reach for stuff that you probably are not in the position to pay for. And so your family is behind monetarily. Emotional neediness, conflict avoidance, the focus on self-gratification, avoiding chores and parenting. This is a big one, ladies. If you see your husband, he's not very involved in parenting. He's not hands-on. We're not saying he's supposed to be a mother replacement. That's not what we're saying. But if he's not hands-on, where he's not helping, he's not initiating, he's not trying to help you with the meals, even if he's not the one cooking, he's in the kitchen washing up after you, he's mopping, he's sweeping, he's making sure the house is clean, even if he's not very much into chores, he must attempt. He must ask. He must say, okay, what can I do? How can you teach me how to do so and so? Because, I mean, he's not the wife of the house. He's not the woman of the house. But he must show interest in wanting to help you. When you see a man avoid parenting, avoid household, he doesn't want to have anything to do with that, that man is more than likely still in his boyish mentality. Boyish mentality. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that before we move on.
No, you can go.
All right, so we want to look at some of the reasons these things are happening to your husband or your partner. What are some of the reasons that this man is actually showcasing these struggles? Because they're hidden struggles. They're actually hidden, and not a lot of men are going to talk about them, right? Men are going to just go through the motion, mask it as best as possible because they have a lot of ego. And so I don't want to talk for the man. I see you kind of like you're thinking of into.
What I was just thinking about, I can definitely say though. Let me be real. You have a lot of men that they're acting whatever way, and it's just coming from their subconscious. That's what we've learned, and we get old, and we never hear nothing about counseling, and even if we do hear about counseling, we don't really see the big deal in it.
Yeah.
And all that type of stuff. So we really don't understand, like, listen, this is really what's going on. And we can say both on both ends, male and female. But especially from a man's perspective. Sitting down and hearing people talk about these things, it's taboo. We don't hear, especially you get saved, you're in the church, you don't hear these type of conversations or this type of stuff in the church.
Yeah.
Said hi.
Hello.
Hey, Raquel. You gotta get what I'm saying. These type of stuff they're not spoken about in the church, and that is why I say we have now gotten to a place where we have to learn to normalize these things, and that is why I feel like a lot of men they step away from that type of engagement because it's not normalized. It's not something that is spoken about. I want to say no. I think it's different now.
Yeah, you have a lot of churches.
It's different now, but again, we are not seeing a lot of men stepping to the table. And if you realize in a lot of capacity, it's the female that are out there.
Yes.
We're doing
Too
these
much.
lives now, and I guarantee you check 90% of who come on, it's females. The men step away because, again, they just don't want to face the reality and the feeling that comes with it.
Yes.
So they will lock away sometime. We just don't want to deal with the outside world. And again, guys, most times it's coming from the imprints of what went on from back then. And so we show up in this capacity, feeling this type of way, feeling withdrawn, don't want to deal with emotions, show emotions a certain type of way that is foreign.
Yeah.
Because it's what we've learned and what we've become accustomed to.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, guys? So it's not normalized. It's just for a man, it's taboo, man.
And I feel like there's a lot of shame attached to it, especially if you have a wife that telling you all the time that you're not being a man, you're not showing up as so and so. I feel like men, is that true?
And it makes it worse, and that's why as a woman you have to
feel small.
you have to be careful even how you approach your spouse in that way. Again, what we're talking about is really, it's almost, again, trauma comes with that. Wherever the traumatic aspect is, and we're talking about even for a man that is promiscuous, like where did that start? You start having sex at a young age, bam, that's a traumatic imprint right there. So because no child should be having sex at that age. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's trauma right there. And that's the beginning now. That imprint that is in his mind, he's just always continuing on that frequency. So the grown man that you're seeing in that grown body is still a child, pretty much. You're looking deep, you're seeing a little boy just curl up in a grown man body. So you've gotten a man at that point.
Yeah.
You've gotten a man in a grown body at that point. You've gotten a woman in a grown body at that phase. And that's why I'm saying when you're nurturing a man, you're not just nurturing the grown man, you're nurturing
the boy.
That little boy. You have no have to call a little boy and create a safety for that person. I remember when I used to rile up, there are moments now I still, get in my feelings. But I remember when it was worse. And I know it's coming from, you know, growing up and getting in marriage and you understand certain things, having certain type of conversation.
Yeah.
I will get upset, I will be riled up at certain things and behave in certain way. And as soon as my wife will say, hey, what's wrong with you? Like
Calm
shit, like just
down.
calm down. It's like I go back to a little bit. It's like the feeling that comes, it's like safety. It's like I don't know what is happening, but it's like a dog. You know, you have a dog on the leash, and you go and you pat him and say, "Calm down,
It's
calm down,
okay.
calm down."
Regulate.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, when I get upset and she get upset, yeah, it's a different.
Yeah.
It's beast mode.
Match your energy. Match it.
You get what I'm saying? It's beast mode. So you have to understand when we talk about nurturing and how to nurture and whatever, you know, all the above. For those that are already in the marriage,
Yeah.
you know have to learn some serious skills, and I pray to God that as a woman you're at a way better place than your husband.
True. To
Because
bring
if
him
you're
back.
not there, I don't want to say your marriage done, but I promise you, you're going to
Years
have
of
a
pain.
lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to submit. No, you are point finger upon him and him a
Yeah.
point finger on you. Like this constant back and forth for years.
Yeah.
Promiscuity all over the place. People doing this. People. It's a hell and powder house. Exactly, Samantha.
Yeah.
A problem, and I guarantee you that's where a lot of persons are.
Yeah.
Because a woman come in with her imprint.
Your fire.
You get what I'm saying? What she know, stepping in the marriage as a group one in a big body, thick and everything. But at the same time, is a little girl inside will never get validated. A little girl that side have gone through something that makes you become a certain type of person. And then you have this grown man in this grown body with this little boy where he learn a different way of life. He never get no love from his parents. His father never did it. Like, it's a lot of stuff, and that is the reality of the world.
And the flip side, that's true. The flip side of that is you have the women, for in this case, the men who are boyish, and we see a question, we're going to come to it. But you have healed women who are just tired of immature men. They're tired of stunted growth. They're tired of carrying the weight of immaturity. And that is why some women who are grown women don't have no time to waste are going to flip on these kids because
Yes,
you
wife.
basically get married to a kid.
Yes, huzzy. You mean yes, wife. yes, babe. You know that's the reality.
Yes.
What I'm talking from is just the place of, let's say, both persons are in a certain
Yeah.
reality where that is concerned. We do have women that are just tired.
Yeah, man,
of
some
it.
women tired
That's
of
why I said,
foolishness.
That's why I said, is I'm hoping that woman is at a better place and her husband where she's able to know take
Yeah.
the time out to slow down and learn the things needed, conflict resolution, how to talk to this person, how to do this, how to hold him accountable.
Boy, it take a lot of teaching.
You get what I'm saying? And then what makes it worse if you have a man where say his way or the highway.
I'm just not ready for change.
Him no want change. Him just setting him own mind.
Must be frustrating.
Awareness. These are the three skills. Awareness. Awareness. Accountability. And there's one more.
You got the tips already.
No, it's not even that. I'm just telling you the skills that for a man.
For the manhood.
For a man, him have to be aware. You understand? Him have to be conscious of the fact that, listen, this is going on.
Yep.
You get humility. So awareness.
Yeah, I like that one.
Awareness, humility, and accountability.
Yeah.
That is where if you don't possess those little things.
Hard. Raquel says, yes, that's true. Most men these days are playing video games and spend hours on their phone. Is this a boyish mentality too? Absolutely. It's not that the video games are a crime or it's wrong, but if, as you say, they're spending most of their time, that means their priorities are not in the adult world. Because only children get soothed by games. Grown men talk about growth. They exhibit growth. They have no time for games the whole day. They have no time for social media. The phones is a device that they will understand that, listen, if I'm going to be a productive man, autopilot, being an autopilot, we have to get out of that. We have to step in conscious living. Subconscious programming, we have to realize, like he said, awareness. If I am just going by autopilot, I have to realize that this is affecting my legacy as a man. It's not just affecting my marriage. This is affecting the man's legacy. And that is why I love this topic so much, because it's not just, oh, I have to get right for this woman. I have to get right for me.
Yes.
As a man, that should be the mindset. Forget wife, forget children for a little bit, for a split second. You have to get right for you.
Yes.
Because your legacy is at stake. I saw a study, and the study said one of the main reasons a man stopped being unfaithful is not because his wife catch him. When they interviewed about 200 men, almost every man said that the reason they stopped being unfaithful to their wives was because they realized their age was getting way up there and they had no profitable income. They had no accomplishment.
Yes.
They had no excess funds and investment. Their business were failing because they were idling out, spending on women, don't have any money for the home, or barely making it by. And that is what stopped them. We're talking about the men outside of Christendom. So the men who are not saved, they said it was their businesses going down and realizing they're reaching that age where regret is going to set in, why they stopped. So statistics show that a man's profit, a man's value on the market, a man's realization that the years are coming and he's nowhere, he's regressing, that makes men stop the foolishness.
And just to add to that, the sad thing to add to that also is
Man,
that
not just stop fool, man.
these person that you're talking about are persons with business, with something of some
Or,
level of
or a
substance.
man who did have dreams.
Have dreams, but imagine again, a lot of us as young men, whether it based on Jamaica or whatever it is, we can only see our thought process was as far as our eyes can see. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of times.
You come from a community where you not see nothing.
You don't hope much.
Yeah, there's no hope. It's different when you have a father that says, listen, this business is going to be yours. So you look towards something.
Yeah.
But growing up, you have to now make a way for yourself. It's
Yeah.
hard for that young man to step out of promiscuity.
But in that case, what the study was saying was
Yeah.
that even if he doesn't have a business, he realizes that life is going where
Running
he's
out.
almost ending, he's exiting the world because he's getting older, and he realizes he has nothing, he accomplished nothing. So he may not have had the business, but he realizes something goes off in his mind that I have had multiple women. I've treated my partners like crap. I was never available to my wife or my children. Now I'm getting older. I have nothing to show for being alive. So the business may not have been there, but life brought him nothing, or he did not work life. And so now he has nothing. And the other thing that I realized in the study was that people who are like that, even women, you realize they are the most unpleasant older people in life.
Grumpy.
They're grumpy because it's caused the repressive phase.
Yes.
Where the repression of goals and dreams based on maybe poor decisions, lack of structure, lack of discipline, being unselfish in this world, these things affect your legacy so much that you live unpleasant. You have a little bit of grumpiness towards young people, and you have a lot of regrets towards yourself. It's like self-hate. It's like self-regret, because guess what? You never made use of your time. Men, if you are here and you are like that, one day, the people who you chased, The ventures you went down that road with are for. The things you did not get to do and develop for yourself. You will feel an urgency in your heart. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, until there is no more time left. Either God calls you home, or when He shows up and the Lord asks you, what did you do with your time? What did you do with your talent? And I know men don't like women talking to them
Man,
sometimes.
what do you do?
So talk to the men, please.
You know, it's serious. You know, as you
And
talk
sometimes
about, we talk
they
about
don't like the
generational, we
woman.
talk about generational wealth. You know, a lot of men they don't really, especially in our culture. You know, we talk about Jamaica and all that type of stuff. We don't think about generational wealth. We
It's
don't think
true.
about leaving something
Yeah.
for your children. You get what I'm saying, guys? You don't think you're not thinking long term. Sometimes we get so caught up in the hullabaloo, we're not thinking long term.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And again, a high value man, right? A high value man. We have this concept that a high value man is based on the amount of money that he
Or his
has,
looks
or how him look. Not even
and
so much
clean.
of, but his wealth.
Yeah.
But guys, a high value man is based on the value that you bring to
Yeah.
life.
His attitudes.
We talk about loyalty. We're talking about sticking to one woman and saying, "Listen, we are going to grow in this and build whatever it is that we need to build in this." We're talking about being reliable. We're talking about being patient. Like these different,
Unselfish. Yeah.
unselfish. You understand? Honest,
Emotionally mature.
honesty, like these things makes a high value man. The knowledge that you gain day by day, whether it's starting a business, whether
Wisdom.
you what I'm saying, that you can impart even on different people,
Oh Lord.
young people coming up. That's a high value man.
A man, when they open their mouth, you just still gonna say, my God.
People can stand up and listen to you all day.
You can carry a conversation. You're intellectually smart.
And you have to get up outside your comfort zone and make that decision and say, listen, every day I'm going to learn something
Yeah.
different.
Go after it.
I'm going to sit down in a Zion and learn, develop myself, develop my skills, like
Yeah.
whatever it is that I think. And it's so sad that you have a lot of men, especially men, you grew up in a certain society and so you don't even know what you want to become because you have never been exposed to certain
The
things.
purpose seeking.
You don't know what's your purpose. You don't know whether to go left or you go right, and that cramp you. You grow up,
Yeah.
you don't know, not because what you see is just board house and zinc fence. You don't know where to go.
Yeah. But there's more.
But there's more.
There's
You have to get to a place where you're saying, listen, I am going to create my world. I am going to create a world that is healthy. I'm going to create a world that if God said, listen, this is what it is, I have something to look forward to. Say, listen, my children coming in, my wife coming in, there's something for them to say, listen, this man brought something to the table.
Yeah.
It can't just be so man.
Amen. All right. So thanks for sharing that. We're going to look at a few things. 5 reasons why men are exhibiting boyish behaviors in the marriage. So we talked about the background of what this looks like, what does a boyish man look like, and we're now going to be talking about the 5 main reasons studies show a man still a behave like boy in a marriage, or even when him find a nice woman who him can settle down with, he's still behaving like a kid. Now, number 1 is any man who you see exhibit boyish behaviors, a lot of times it's unresolved pain from the past. For example, childhood trauma. And we say this is a hidden struggle for a woman a lot. But sometimes, ladies, your man has hidden traumas. Your man has hidden struggles. And childhood wounds is one of them. They may never have gotten the protection or being seen and heard, and so that abandonment, that rejection, that neglect from the childhood is the reason a lot of men act out now.
Yes.
Especially when it comes down to conflict resolution. For those who live in the Caribbean or in Jamaica, you see high violence towards women. I saw a lot of people saying it seems like Jamaican men don't like women. It seems like Jamaican men don't like kids.
Yes.
because most of their anger is towards a female. It's towards a child. And a big bad man or a man who stand in your face and say XYZ, you may not want to step to those men. But who you step to? The woman at
Yes.
your yard or the child who is helpless. And so it looks that way, men. Like we don't love the woman or you don't love and protect women. But you can show the world that's not true, right? You absolutely can. So, childhood trauma. A lot of men need to say, I am aware something is not right. I am aware, and because of this awareness, I'm going to go after healing. Because healing is for you as well. And so, number two is the fear of responsibility and pressure. The idea, this hidden struggle that marriage is going to give me too much responsibilities. The fear in your heart to be responsible for woman and kids. I can just imagine how a man feels, how you may feel at times, knowing that the pulse of this home is dependent on if you are providing or not, or if you are supplying this or not. It is a hard job for them,
Yes.
especially if they've never been taught or they've never seen somebody model. All right, Tony, when you grow up, you're gonna put down 4,000 out of 10. Or all right, Tony, you're gonna go invest in a course to teach you financial literacy. A lot of men don't get that. All right, when the females say you hurt me, what do? You know, walk away and say, all right, me can't talk about that right now. Or you go out with your friends. What do? You call her and say, babe, what's wrong? A lot of men don't get that. A lot of boys were never made to feel their feelings. Were never allowed to feel their feelings. So what kind of man you think they're going to grow up to be? A lot of boys, them little girlfriend break them heart. Their baby mothers may not have treated them kindly, and guess what? Nobody interrupted that meaning for them. So they get married thinking women are a certain way. I heard a man said the other day that his father told him something about women and he believes it. And he's a married man. He says women are to be treated a certain way. And he wasn't talking about something good. He said you look at women like things to be pawned. His dad told him that. And this is a married man. But guess what? It is reflecting in the type of marriage, because he's not necessarily the most faithful married man, but he's running a marriage and a home. So the things that people teach them, either directly or indirectly, is affecting how they come to you and start treating you. That's the lesson they were given. And that's the replication they come and deliver. The next one is lack of healthy male mentorship. It's intertwining with the previous one. This is a big hidden struggle, a huge struggle. Ask a man right now, name 5 men in his life that he looks up to. Am I going to include his mom, pastor, and him auntie will grow him? And they said, no, but I said men. Men don't necessarily have a lot of men. They have female friends, they have female role models, their grandma, and they name mommy, and they love them mommy, and they love them granny,
Grandfather.
and then grandfather, but they can't name 5 man role model.
And if they name if they do have role models, sometimes they will tell you a person that they see on the TV.
Are they goodly did dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of living role models who really, and even if the person died, that's not bad, because at least that person still imprinted some kind of values. But ask a man, every man you meet nowadays, ladies, or if you're courting or dating or you're married, ask them, some friend or if you're married to them, hubby, give me 5 men that you really look up to. If they say biblical characters, that's fine too. You can accept those, but a lot of men don't. They can't name even 3. Ask a female. Give me 5 women you look up to. Oh God, she lists 10. Because there's so many women who are saying, I'm stepping out of this. So poor role models. not a lot of strong masculinity that is being maturely exemplified. Men are left guessing what real adulthood looks like, and by default they start to act like boys because that is what is familiar to them. That's what is familiar.
Safety.
And that is their safety spot. Nobody taught them how to transition into manhood and purpose and discipline and emotional intelligence. And what the Bible say is a fruit of the spirit? Self-control.
Thank you, Jesus.
Self-control. It's a fruit of the spirit. A lot of men have not mellowed into this. And so there's no much discipline in how they work, the faithfulness of the relationship, how they fast, how they apply to jobs and building, using skills to make money. A lot of men are afraid of wealth creation. They don't know what it looks like. They are used to struggling, hand to mouth, and they get married and carry you into this. Carry you into it. But because we are faithful wives and we don't want to say, oh, you know, we're pushing the man's ambition. Because a lot of times the ladies say that, but him have ambition. But a lot of times the ambition is not. It's not manifested.
You know, ladies, you know, I just want to say this real quick. I'm trying to figure out the best way I can bring this across. You know, I think you started out and, you know, you were talking about a lot of times, you know, females, you know, you tend to give men a leeway to get away, to get away with a lot of things. And it's sad to say, but women, you have to be the one, or you pretty much are the ones that have to keep these men in check. And when
It's
I
true.
say keep them in
It's
check,
true.
meaning that
It's
man
true.
can't a man is going after a woman. He's the aggressor. He's the one that is saying, listen, I want you, I want you. You have to keep these men in
It's
check.
true. In the sense of
In the sense that, you know, when
creating the
he
environment.
when he's coming at you with certain things that is that will break your boundaries, that will step over your boundaries, like things
Stand
that
on 10.
that will take you out of safety. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a Christian man and a Christian woman, because we're talking about Christianity. You have to know, be at that place where you're saying, listen, no.
Stand on 10.
You have to stand on 10.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Let him stay in his element and learn these things and develop these things,
Yeah.
and don't be too quick to jump and stretch out finger, because
Yeah.
you know you're coming from a place of desperate, you know, being desperate, or you
Or
just want,
rejection.
you get what I'm saying?
And he'll thank you for it.
You have to keep him in check.
Yeah. He'll thank you for it after a while. He will.
Because you talk about self-control, a lot of times when we're talking about Christianity, and I'm being real, you have females, you want to get married, you want to find that person, you meet this guy, and because he have not gotten a chance to develop these things, he's going to push to step over your boundaries.
Yeah.
He's going to push, and you might find yourself fornicating after fornicating, and you can't go to God, go ask him, God, is he the one? Because you now defile the temple of God. So even in that moment, you still can't get to understand, like would this man, would he stand on 10s when it comes to self-control? Would he stand on 10? And we want to teach a topic
Yeah.
we want to teach a topic on the danger of fornication, you know. We
Once
want
you
to
break that.
we want to teach a topic on that, because a lot of times we don't know the seriousness of it. You defile the temple. You can't go back and say, God, so is he the one? God is silent because you defile the temple. And even if God said, listen, he would have been the one. In the spiritual, you step over, what would I put it? You break that spiritual covenant.
So it comes with certain ripple.
So it's going to come with certain ripple effect.
Yeah. Unnecessary years of pain.
Because the seed has been planted in the spiritual. You're getting covenant with somebody out of the
Prematurely.
legal way, prematurely, pretty much.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, guys? So it's serious. We understand you might want it, you want to get married, but the process, you have to let that man stay in that process of learning and understanding. We talk about self-control. Because guess what, guys? If you step out, if you allow this man to break that boundary, right? I'm not doing the thing, I'm not doing the thing, right? You're not going to understand that is he a person that is able to stay loyal. In the
Yeah.
moments when we not having a hustle and the bustle, can
Yeah.
he stay loyal?
Yeah. You can't test the theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand? Would he stay true?
Yeah. When we argue, will he seek comfort elsewhere?
When you argue, will he seek comfort elsewhere?
When we're broke, wow.
Because you rush the process, you don't give that man a chance to go through the different seasons. When they tell him, say, listen, no, like that is wrong, like this, we can't go through that because this might cause this and this might, and him can wall off and say, all right, I want to go through the process. And you say, say, all right, you might have a little part where the flesh might rise up and behave a certain way, but keeping him in line and see how him respond to that.
Yeah.
Will he respect that boundary and say, all right, I'm sorry about that, and let's keep
work
pushing
towards
again.
it, yeah.
Let's keep pushing again. We're not gonna do this that way again, because we kind of get in a little circle when it's so hot. We're gonna keep pushing. Would he
Let's
be?
honor God.
Yeah. Would he continue on that path, or would he come back again to say, listen? Then say, listen, that side of a man, that side of that man is not dead.
It's not dead. And he's not done.
And he's not done.
Yeah. What is not dead is not done. I like that question because we spoke about that earlier on the previous one. We this is part 2 actually. So the one earlier we did talk about how do you differentiate boyish man between a narcissist, because sometimes it is borderlining narcissistic tendency, and I believe we should do the follow up. When today's what, Monday, Thursday. We could probably do the follow-up on Thursday regarding, because narcissism is very thick and deep and wide. So we're going to, the live on Thursday we can commit to, if that's okay, for Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Follow up with the boyish behavior. When do you know that this is not just boyish behavior, this man mentally need help? No, for real, like him need help mentally, because some man manipulate you and wonder if I use something wrong with as a female. Some men gaslight you to the point where you wonder if it's you. So that's a great question. Soul therapy with wholeness. How do you navigate having a spouse who is a narcissist? There are ways.
Didn't we do a topic that's narcissist?
We did do a topic on that.
Yeah.
We did. But it was a more general, like male and female. But we can follow up with this specific topic. How do you differentiate when this boyish behavior is not just him being immature emotionally, he's not well mentally? You can tell. So on Thursday we'll touch on that. Thanks for that question.
You get what I'm saying, guys? So
sorry.
it's serious, Give that man a chance to navigate in different seas, because again, as my wife was saying, that man is not done.
What's not
and you
dealt
can't
with is not done.
you can't do that in the name of keeping this person. You don't want this person break up with you. You don't want to lose this person, like this guy that is sent from heaven. You don't want to, in the name of going down that road. No.
Yeah.
Let that man go through the different seasons. Let God flush him out.
Yeah.
Because these are the moments that will test what is really going on inside this person. What are you dealing with?
Yeah.
Are you delivered? Are you delivered as a man of God? Where do your priority lies? Are you really serving God? Like, what are your conversations like? Does he talk about God? Does he talk about praying? Does he talk about the work of the Lord? Like, these are the little things that you have to look out for.
Yeah. Awesome. And the thing that comes to mind before I go to the next two, That is why we are called the helpmeet of the man. Because if you are a helper or a helpmeet to somebody, it means you have some skills, ladies, that they don't have just yet. And your job, you were specifically and specially really created by God to bring out certain things out of this man. You are there to hone those skills, develop it in yourself so you can impart. Because in his biological wiring, he's not very soft around the edges, and that's our job to esteem them to that place that makes a house a home, and for his purpose to be actualized, not just realized but actualized. You realize what this man is called to do as a wife role, and never just come to be cute and wear the ring. You realize what this purpose is, and you step into the gap of this praying, this nurturing, this being deliberate in your marriage as the woman, and pull this out, this man. So he has his work to do and we have our work to do. The next one is one of the reasons why this man is behaving like this is the escapism and addiction to freedom. Some husbands or some partners are addicted to being free, and their versions of freedom may be thwarted. It is different from somebody else. It's relative, because freedom for some men means I am with my family and there's no better place to be. For some, it's I want to be with my friends.
Yes.
I don't want you to come tell me about prayer meeting tonight, Bible study tomorrow, youth service on Friday, Sunday morning worship. Some men are running from that structure because it was never presented to them before you came in the picture. Like the live, guys, please double tap the screen, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, like the live. And so thank you in advance. And so the escapism and the freedom is a hidden struggle. Some men actually subconsciously see the marriage as a threat to their independence. And so to reclaim their sense of maturity in their mind, they're mature and I'm a big man, they act out through immature habits like excess gaming, partying, irresponsibility, not realizing that this is sabotaging not just the marriage like we talked about, but this is sabotaging their own growth. It's stunting their growth. And again, men, it's not just for the wife. This growth is for you first. And the next one is the emotional immaturity and fear of vulnerability. Why is a man's growth stunted after marriage? A lot of times is they're not mature emotionally, and there is a fear of being open. Are men afraid to be vulnerable?
Yes.
Connected and true and real and authentic?
Yes.
Yes, it's a hidden struggle for a lot of men because maturity requires openness. It requires vulnerability, and many men are taught that when you hide your feelings, you're a true man. Hi Fiona, good to see you, girl.
Welcome back, Fiona.
Welcome. So a lot of them are told that, listen, when you hide your feelings, you're a big man. The woman is supposed to question you. And so husbands, they may hide feelings like fear and sadness and insecurity, and they avoid deeper emotional connections. They stay on the surface a lot. They joke around a lot. They're sarcastic. They withdraw. They act impulsively. And these are all signs of emotional immaturity. Gaming every day, going out with friends. They're not spending time to stay in stillness and face themselves. They can't even face the wife too long. I remember when we just got married. I think it was when we just got married. And after a while, we were talking about it. And, you know, every time, like, he would come in, he would say, okay, I'm going to play ball. And then you go play ball, you would go play ball, and he say, all right, we have another match tomorrow. The matches, they were a real match. A real match. He might go play, he might go watch football, whatever. But why is it that he couldn't stay still?
Can't stay still.
I used to ask him, yeah, Rod Peggy? Like, you're always playing football. 1 o'clock, them a compete. 2 o'clock, they're competing. Always playing games, always playing football. Right now, if my husband go on the game for 30 minutes, him get frustrated because maturity has stepped in, and now the game is like, the game gets him, he's disgusted at the game.
But and again, guys, you know, there's nothing wrong with playing the game. There's nothing wrong with, you know, but you have to learn how to prioritize.
Yes, balance.
You know, like now I go on the game, I would say, okay, 30 minutes, and I'm off.
And you
and
notice,
I stick to it.
it's
30
never
minutes.
me set the time, it's him set him home time.
Yes.
Before, I used to be mad in the hours of morning. I used to be so upset it would cause a lot of arguments between us. Like, me tired of it. I felt like I was carrying the weight of even, like prayer time and this and that. Because if I play games so long, you don't have no time for doing else. Family time, family wise. And we had our first daughter at the time. And then 7 years later, we had another daughter. But it was a lot. I felt like it was just, okay, I am with the daughter all the time, all the time. Hobby soothing, self-soothing through his game. But now, years later, fast forward, to God be the glory, fast forward, that came through submitting to God. And then now he sets his own time. I don't even remember sometimes there's a game in the house because 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and he's off. And I said, if he can transform, your spouse can too.
Yes.
So to God be the glory. We're gonna close out with some tips. What do you do if you're a wife or a partner and your spouse or your partner is still showing boyish behavior? You can't trust this man because boyish behaviors sabotage intimacy. It sabotages trust. How can you trust somebody like that? And it sabotages the love in the family, in the household. And so some of the things that you can do is to encourage healing in your spouse. It could be that there are some wounds before from childhood. We talked about that. Book things like, buy some books for him, books that teaches him emotional maturity. What does it look like? Because if he doesn't have a picture in his mind, if he doesn't have a point of reference, it's gonna sound like you're just doing this. It's a talk, 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 talk. And men don't like a wife that nags.
What if he doesn't like to read?
If he doesn't like to read, watch a video, go to a seminar, book events that y'all can go and enjoy and jump up and participate, or you can do it in the form of things he likes. So if he likes massages, you can probably put on a movie while you're massaging him. You can put on a inspirational program, something where a man triumphed over struggles. There's so many movies that are wholesome, and you can learn a lesson from it. You can go to a function, a ball, a banquet, a seminar. We have one coming up in May, From Hurt to Healing, for couples and singles. You can check that out. We'll put the link in the chat soon. So these are the things that you can do as a couple. Book hotel, go out. If you can't book a hotel, book a little lunch date. You and him go out, tell him to meet you so and so, and you sit down and you ask him some little fun questions. If you can't order a card pack for couples on Amazon, Google some questions and make your own card pack. Google the questions, cut them out nicely, tell him pick one, you answer, then him answer. And then if he's not giving deeper level, you probe it like, so what else? So what else? Like, go deeper with him.
Yes.
Don't just allow him and then cuss him off and then accept it, and you're not really, helping him to. Because sometimes they don't know what it looks like. And it is easy to become lost in mothering him, but don't mother him. You're not his mom, and you're not his therapist. Be a wife to him. That's what he needs. And if he needs a therapist, you suggest where he can go and get help. And if he needs to fix relationship with his mother, you encourage that. Because sometimes they don't have great relationships with their mom. And encourage calling, talking things out, forgiving, praying for this person that has probably caused a wounding in their lives. But
Serious.
You don't mother him.
That's
Wifey,
a serious one.
you do not mother this man. I had to learn that. Get him out of your safety net. Get him out your shadow. Don't create a shadow where he's just walking in your shadow. You don't have to mother him. There's a big difference between a wife's love and a mother's love. So the first one is to help him to see that healing is very important. It starts with the self, and then help him to learn emotional literacy, being able to identify and process and express his emotions healthily. Be a safe space for this man, because if him tell you, I used to do that where my husband would share certain things, and then when I'm so-called reprimanding him afterwards, may I use back the same things the man I say, that is why I can't deal with you because so and so and so. And he would be like, but I told you this, like, in my vulnerable time. Now you're using it back. And so men don't like that, females. We have to be careful how we use the things they share with us and weaponize them. Don't weaponize what they told us. Be a safe space for him. The next one is to recognize that you are responsible for your own needs. Wives, you have to learn how to make yourself really in a sweet spot of happiness and joy. If your husband is boyish or childlike, this, if you depend on him to make you happy, you're going to be so miserable. You're going to be so frustrated. Let that joy ooze from the love of God first and foremost. Talk about fit him this and fit him that. Oh, okay, him versus ours. Yeah, yeah. That is something that we can look at as well, definitely, because that is boyish as well. It's my toy. No, it's your toy. It's my toy. No, you must learn to share. My 3-year-old is why here talk about that. My 3-year-old and our 10-year-old argue about what is mine versus them. That is a childish mentality. When you get married, there is no, it's yours, no, it's mine. No, two become one. So are the items in the house and the marriage. It's yours, you buy it, or me buy it, but I told you one. And it must be enforced that this is.
And if that is going on, there's no safety in the house.
Thank you, because me couldn't trust you if you keep on saying
there's no once if you're married and you're doing that, there's no safety.
It's gonna affect the safety.
He's not safe with you, and you're not safe.
You're not safe with him.
There's no safe. That's
yeah.
No
and
safety.
And you ask him genuinely, like, why do you say yours versus mine?
Yeah.
Because sometimes them genuinely have a reason why them say yours. Some men say, like you talk about, is the safety. They don't feel like they can let go them assets and themselves with a female. Probably because a female, maybe mommy leave them when they're young, so that assurance, that attachment is not secure. So they want to remind you that I've marked my territory. If you do me something or me do you something, I have something to go.
Or a male figure told them that, listen, women, they will spend off your money.
Yeah.
And women with this.
Some imprint is there.
And that is left in his subconscious. You know.
That man is the best man to tell you why they believe that.
Yes.
All right, so wives, recognize that you are responsible for your own needs. So what does that mean? Number one, you need to set your boundary in an act of self-respect. Set your boundary with this man.
Stand on 10.
Even if it's your husband, stand on 10. Listen, babe, I realize you are not developed, or there's some things you can work on, but guess what? Don't set the boundary in selfishness. Don't spite him because, him behave boyish. I don't think that person is fully committed to the relationship. No, there's not full commitment there.
Yes.
And even if he is in his words that, yeah, I am committed, his emotions are split because he doesn't trust the safety of that home or that marriage. So subconsciously he's not there fully, but he's there fully physically. So that's true. All right. Again, set your boundaries. You can love someone, but still say this behavior will not be accepted. I'm sorry, babe, I love you, but this behavior will not be tolerated. Women, learn to advocate for yourself. I am not tolerating this behavior. Remember what we said? They will do right by somebody else, and you that their baby upon a trophy cover and smooth down what he did that was not right. You must be loving and kind, but your boundaries must be hard. So soft heart, tender heart, but your boundaries still must stand on your core values, on biblical principles, on biblical truth. I cannot allow you to think I accept this. Number 2, communicate clearly and firmly. You love your husband, you love your partner, but if they're boyish, you have to say it.
Yes.
Don't let them think, or hint that, oh, she don't mean that, or that's not what she mean, that's something else she mean. You must not leave space for second guessing. Don't hint at it. Tell them as it is. In love, of course. But you must communicate clearly and firmly. Boundaries work best when you speak things clearly, not with hints. I will not stay in a conversation where I am belittled, for example. That's him understanding clearly that, listen, my wife nah communicate if I'm disrespecting her. Not him thinking that, oh, she gonna talk to me if I push up on her. I just need to rub up on her a little bit. I just need to buy her something and she can talk to me.
Or breeze her and then come back.
Yeah, or give her a little space, drive out and come back. No. Yes. Communicate clearly. And a lot of times we find that sex cloud the judgment of even spouses. Because there's a behavior that you need to address. We need to address it. But then they come and they, the sex come back in, or there should have been a period where you take some time and talk and pray and cry and whatever. Counseling. But the sex comes back in too quickly and it clouds the judgment. And we use intimacy as a indirect message to say we're good again.
Like a quick fix.
Yeah, we fixed it because now we can be intimate.
And then a lot of times when after the sex, there's no conversation.
Thank you. No follow-up.
There's nothing that says,
clarity.
okay, so what went on?
Yeah.
Like, how did we just sick? We
Yeah.
have sex and then we're gone right back to normal.
Because if you become intimate, we don't want to say the word too much because YouTube may flag it. But if you become intimate with your spouse and vex and things go on and not right, and your spouse, if you want to have sex, you have sex. But at the same time, follow up the action there with a little communication. All right, we do this and we don't want to use this act of intimacy, this sacredness, to cloud the real deal. Go to the root cause. What happened? Why it happened? Is this something I'm going to be seeing again? Where's your mind at? Are you ready to move forward? Talk about it clearly. Do not hint it.
Well, and just add, don't let the sex be a pattern.
Yeah.
Don't let it be a pattern where, as we say,
patch up pattern.
Sex and then whatever. Sometimes you have to stand on 10.
Yep.
Stand on 10. If something has to be dealt with, we have to have a conversation and a resolution before we get to that place of intimacy. Not intimacy and then
safety. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true, Raquel.
Yes. You talk about it. Listen, we are going to practice this healthy conflict resolution. Sex and then patch up, because again, sex, while a man, listen, I don't even want to go down that road. But when it comes to, I was going to say, a man, when it comes to sex, is like light work to him. You don't have to have no connection with you for have sex with
it again, of course.
You get what I'm saying? So sex on a whole is mainly when it comes to the feelings and the emotions on the female, and you don't want that to cloud you.
Yeah.
Because you can find yourself being intimate with your partner, and then when you get up, you're feeling some type of way, and he's saying some stuff will soften you up just the same. Before that, you could have stand on 10 and tell him as it is, express yourself the way you want to express yourself, without that extra emotions and that little butterfly. Before you can express yourself in the way you need to express yourself, and let your husband know, listen, this cannot be accepted. And he have to listen and work with it, meaning that he's comprehending what you're saying, and you're looking to, okay, how can we now solve this? Sometimes it's going to be, how can we solve this? And I want to see this. Meaning that after you say that, you want to see proof. You want to see a follow-up. You want to see if this person is going to stand on his word. You don't want no clouding and no judgment and all that. Sometimes wives, you have to stand on 10. That's true. That sometimes the only way you get some respect. And also, sad to say, sometimes you're going to really know if this person love you.
Yeah. I mean, your family not good. They're for waste time.
It's a reality.
It's true.
Sometimes, because if your husband love you, if you say, babe, this hurt me, this will feel like this, and him don't want to fix it, something is wrong.
Yeah. It's selfishness. One of the biggest reasons marriages can't grow.
You can't in a marriage and the person is just operating. Him can't fall out of love and him not tell you. Him can't in somewhere in a space and he's just not telling you.
Yeah.
These are the ways that you're going to find out, listen, who are you as my husband?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really care about the relationship? Do you really care about the marriage? Do you really care about me as your wife?
Yeah.
Do you care about how we grow in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, these are the moments
Yeah, they don't care.
where you go find out really what it is. You
Mm-hmm.
can't use sex to cloud it. Because
Yeah.
once you have sex, him go in one little corner, he can talk from now till the morning.
Yeah.
Him done release himself and him good again.
Mm-hmm.
You can't use sex for wife.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is the only thing as a woman you can hold to say, listen, you nah get none. No, you think I
Yeah,
joke.
tell the people have a lock shop on their husband.
No, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes, no. I mean,
It's
I'm a husband.
yeah,
But
yeah.
listen, sometimes
Yeah.
to get a man to move because a man, that a theme thing. That is a man's
It's a
thing.
man's thing.
Yeah. Sometimes I saw it have to go. Sometimes you have to just say, listen, until I see this is what it is.
Yeah. Statistics show that a man will get up from an argument and feel great and feel like it's resolved because there was intimacy
Oh
involved.
my God.
And the woman is still conflicted.
Oh my God.
And there's a war going on the inside of her because a woman is emotionally wired. She's wired for protection and for intimacy, like emotional intimacy. But the man, he doesn't have to be wired to you emotionally to sleep with you. So he gets up and he feels like everything is good. Oh, you still remember that? To the man already passed that because there was a little bit of action and the woman still stuck. And that is why a woman will argue about so many past hurts because a whole heap of things in a woman are resolving.
Yes.
A whole heap of things the wife finna get for talk about resolve,
Sex as a
process, and Ozzy say, me no remember. Sometimes you bring up some things and the man tell you say, him no remember. Him no remember. Because intimacy used to polish it.
Put a band-aid on
Yeah.
it and we're good again. No.
And the trick is, intimacy was always used even before marriage, for some people who were doing that before marriage, always used as a pacifier. So this man now come and the same false sense of reality, dopamine get released and him feel like, oh, I was rewarded, I'm good now, she must forgive me. But the wife is there still hurting, still hoping he'll see the pain and the hurt, and that is why you can't hint it. You have to say it openly that, hey, it's not resolved, we still need to deal with it. We still need to talk about it. All right, number 4, detach from their reactions, especially if it's a narcissistic husband. You have to detach from his reaction. He may throw tantrums, he may walk off and behave like him don't want to hear anything. Listen, detach from the reaction.
Yes.
If you're in that marriage and he's boyish, he's a child, he's throwing tantrum, he's not a leader, he's not a protector, provider, whatever you name it, whatever you want him to be, whatever a man of God should be as biblical principles. If he is responding in a way that is disrespectful or hurting, detach yourself from his reactions and stand on 10. I really need to speak with you about our marriage. We will be much better if we would just have or create some time for this conversation. So detach from their reaction. They might use guilt. They might feel the need to guilt trip you. They may get angry or minimize your feelings. Look out for it. It's gonna come. But remember that his reaction does not validate your boundary. His reaction doesn't validate whether you have boundaries or not. So they may minimize and make you feel like, say, you something wrong with, but it doesn't minimize your boundaries.
Yes.
At the end of the day, these men will thank you. Your husband will thank you. Meaning you don't let it get to you where his reaction is going to cause you to zip your mouth.
Yes.
Or it's going to cause you to start hiding away, shrinking away, dumbing down yourself. Because a lot of women get afraid of not saying certain things or not advocating for themselves, really. So instead of making the reactions like guilt tripping you, for example, guilt trip, manipulation, gaslighting. If you let a man get to you with guilt tripping you, every time they do something, you will not react or respond in a way that safeguards your home, your marriage, your children, because you are not wanting to feel or hear them say, you know, say you have a problem, you don't say you love problem. Women don't like that, especially if them say you come like all I woman them women know. A wife don't want to hear that.
Yes.
So the wife will know, don't want to come in at the category that, so guess what? She don't want but to talk up. Especially if the other party doesn't want to communicate about stuff happening in the marriage. Yes, that is true. That's absolutely true. And so there are ways to deal with even that aspect, like including people that they look up to. And again, I don't want to make the life too long because we're gone beyond. But I promise you, soul therapy and with wholeness, we're going to touch on all of those on Thursday, in line with the narcissistic behaviors, and this person don't want to talk. It's I talk when I talk, when I want to talk. Communication in this marriage happen when I start this up. That's how a narcissist think. So come on Thursday. Stay consistent. The last two is stay consistent. Your boundaries will lose power. You have a husband who behave like a boy, your boundaries lose power when they are moved or when you break your own boundaries. You can't tell him that you need to be respectful today and tomorrow you allow him to cuss you out. And you can't tell him, say, oh, next week you need to be respectful or I will not stay in a communication that's disrespectful. And then tomorrow you make him do it and you say nothing. No, it's every day he disrespects you. This relationship does not tolerate disrespect. I cannot accept that. I'm sorry. You have to stay consistent. And the next one is keep your identity anchored in your worth, in the worth that you know God died. The Lord Jesus Christ, he died and he said, listen, you are worthy. You wear my righteousness. Your identity is in that. And sometimes boyish men makes you feel like nothing.
Yes.
They make you feel like you are not worth a happy home. You're not worth love. But guess what? Your identity stays there and you keep your communication, your identity anchored in your worth. Don't keep it anchored in fixing him. Fixing him. That's not where your worth is coming from. You are not fueled with purpose as a wife because you're in the marriage fixing him. You're helping him. You're supporting him from the aspect of you are a daughter of the king. And so daughters set boundaries in a certain way, class and royalty, because yours is not coming from selfishness. Yours is coming from we're royalty. We can't make this happen in the marriage. We are royalty. You're the son of the Most High. And I'm the daughter. And guess what? You're not just trying to fix this man. So you're not his mother. You are not his mother. You're not his savior. You're not his emotional babysitter. You're not his therapist. You are a partner who God said marriage is honorable and you are worthy of respect, honor, and reciprocity. Sometimes we give up hope as wives because this man a mash up the legacy of this family. He is destroying his own growth. He is destroying the legacy of the marriage. But you are worthy of that. And so as a helpmeet, stand on 10. Not just go so with where the wind blow you. Be serious about it and continue to pray and guide in your wifely roles how God has called you to help this man.
Yes.
So I hand over to you, Sir Bogle.
I've said it, guys.
I'll post the link for the seminar if you're in Jamaica in the chat.
I've said it, guys.
You're done?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's not that easy. It's not an easy journey, guys. It's not an easy journey. And again, as I said before, when I started out, you know, a lot of us, you know, how we were brought up and the imprints that we've had to go through. You know, we get to a phase where, you know, we have now grown body-wise, but we're still stuck. at that place where it all started growing up. And so we have to push to do the work, you know, we have to push to enlighten ourselves when it comes to understanding what these things could potentially cost. And a lot of times, you know, when you've done the work, when you've done the work personally, you're able to see and to pick out and to realize when these things pop up. Whether you're a single person or you're married, you're able to see these things and know how to approach it and know, you know, the different tools that you need to assist in this situation. So guys, you know, you have to do the work.
Yep.
You know, you have to do the work. Men, we don't know everything.
Yeah.
We don't know everything, and I promise you again, you know, we have a whole world to conquer. God has called us
Yes.
to stand in the gap. You know, women should not be the one, you know, carrying all this weight.
It's true.
Yeah, the woman shouldn't be the one carrying the family, guys. So we need to stand up and to get back to the place where God has called us to be. So
Amen.
let us get there. Let us do the work. Let us be men of valor. You know,
Yes.
love our wives, love our kids. You know, be that role model that our kids can mirror and see and choose from that place. Because again, guys, single people, you're courting for your future. Married people,
Yeah.
you're nurturing the future. So single, you're courting for your future. Married people, we're nurturing for the future. When we talk about our kids coming up, we're nurturing them to send them out so they can be better husbands and better wives and better men of God and women of God.
Amen.
In the place that God has called them to be. So
Amen.
future. Anytime we are thinking about nurturing, think about the future.
Yep.
Single people, future.
Future.
Married
Amen.
people, future.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys on Thursday with a follow-up regarding narcissism
Amen.
and the boyish behavior. Good night.
Good night, guys. Bless up. Bless up.